Bow down before my psycho power.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. The first thing I want to say is thank you for all the support. We recently passed 38,100 subscribers. I know season 2 is rough. We had ups, we had downs, we had hot takes, we had bad takes, but here's to season 3 being so much better. For this video, I want to give you guys a complete breakdown of everything that happened. This time I am well rested. I am not fresh off of multiple 10+ hour live streams. We're locked in now. Speaking of being locked in, the first thing that I want to talk about is the tournament format and how it's evolving. They're doing big things this year. The tour begins on May 1st, 2026, and it ends on November the 15th, 2026. You also can see kind of a blueprint roadmap of how they expect it to go. You also have a alteration to the format of how you can get to the Tekken World Tour Finals, where you have the global leaderboards where 16 players can make it through. The regional leaderboards is making a return, even though there was a lot of chaos there. There was a lot of alleged cheaters from Alidar to Noel to even Rife. Bandai Namco didn't really respond to any of that stuff. They also allowed those guys to participate, which upset a lot of people. With Bandai Namco not putting out a clear statement on what happened with the regional leaderboards of 2025, and with it making an appearance again in 2026, you can only imagine that maybe those conversations will repeat itself. Regardless, you have a new way of entering the Tekken World Tour Finals, and the way you do that is by winning EVO Japan, EVO USA, and EVO France. 3 players can make it through. They also have the last chance qualifiers where 1 person will make it through as well, but then you also have the addition of the EWC. Whoever wins that will also make it through. Now, assuming all of those tournaments are won by different people, this is how people will get into the tournaments. Now, as for the EWC, they revealed that yes, once again, they're giving out $1 million in total. First place will probably walk away with about 200, 300,000. All of the pro players celebrated this. You can pause and look at the details of this tournament if you're really interested, but let's move on. As for Harada, you know he was there live in person, signing a lot of merchandise, interacting with the players. He also went up on the stage one final time to introduce season 3, but also say goodbye to the players.
Don't ask me for shit. Thank you.
On the note of Harada, I am happy that we were able to have this happy little moment before he truly really goes away. I know even though he retired, he's still kind of hanging out and it doesn't feel like he's actually gone. But after this moment, who knows when the next time we will see him. So thank you for your work, Harada. Shouts out to the legend. Let's keep going. Season 3 officially announced. They showed off quite possibly one of the best trailers I've seen for Tekken in a very long time. On the flip side, you have some tweets as well talking about how Tekken 8 is kind of coming back and making waves. Players are excited to see what it can do. No longer is it just Street Fighter who has a bright future. Tekken 8 is a part of that. Mortal Kombat, those guys are still far, far, far gone. And it's good that we got this huge boost in momentum because Tekken 8 has a lot of competition with the other fighting games. And with Season 3 getting off to a huge start, that just means it's going to be more competitive this time around. I know the EVO Japan numbers was kind of low. With this kind of reveal, I'm expecting it to shoot up just a little bit, if nothing else. Before we dive deep into the details of Tekken 8, I do want to mention one thing that did not happen. Before Season 2 started, the developers updated the game, and when players looked into the files of the game, they saw this thing called Customization Marketplace. When this discovery was found, it was quickly scrubbed from the files. Now, this is a feature that we found in the files of the game, and I was assuming would be announced with Season 3, but that did not happen. Customization Marketplace is basically a thing where players can upload their own created outfits to like this kind of hub in the Tekken Lounge, and then other players can go and download up to 20 of them, save them. Now, as to why this feature isn't a part of Season 3 and it was in the files of Season 2 but then later removed, no one knows, and only time will tell whether or not this is a feature that will come to the game at some point in the future. Now, as for things that are actually confirmed for this game, step number 1, you have Kunimitsu, the long-awaited return of the character. You know, you had people like Arslan celebrating her. Her usage data in Tekken 7 was really high, so seeing her return is no surprise. You also have the inclusion of Bob and Roger. Bob, to be expected, there was stuff all over the files about him. Roger is a little bit of a head scratcher, especially coming over Miguel and Julia, but I'm interested to see what the developers do there. We will talk a little bit more about Miguel in just a second.
So Tekken has historically been a series that has included some kind of off-the-wall characters like Gon, Mokujin, Roger, Alex, Kuma. Since Tekken 6, though, it's only really been Kuma and Panda representing that kind of character archetype.
And in order to get everyone's favorites and then also include characters like that, we'd have to have a roster of like 60-some characters, which just isn't viable from a launch. And then also for the player base to learn how to play against that number of characters is a lot. We wouldn't say they're not going to make an appearance ever again. That's just the current state.
Now, the inclusion of new moves is something that I referenced in one of my earlier videos. I knew every character would get one, and I know this is also something that players do not want. So how it will be balanced, how it will be incorporated, whether or not it will bloat the move list of every character further is yet to be seen, but then also whether or not those moves will patch out the weaknesses of characters is yet to be seen. When you look at the Tekken Doc's website, this is in fact a great website. You can see how many moves every character actually has. Yoshimitsu has the most with 312 moves to his list, followed up by King, Harangs, Jack, Alyssa. I won't go one by one, but I do want to highlight how Armor King has 173. Interesting enough, Claudio has 101 moves. In Tekken 7, he had 73. So going from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, he gained 40 moves. You can see how quickly characters gain moves. Now in Tekken 8, the only character to have less than 100 moves is, in fact, Shahid. So whether or not the new moves will bloat the game further is a serious question, but like I said, only time will tell. Something else that they're doing is celebrating the 2nd anniversary, and they're doing that by adding free character panels for Season 1 and 2 DLC into the game. And then they're also going to add, over the course of about 4 weeks, individual items for every character. Items in the sense of like player card, name card for every character. They said in total it's like 200. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming to the game over the duration, and they're spreading it out because they said with Season 2, when they put everything in the game all at once, they weren't able to fix it and adjust it properly. So if they put it in the game, something breaks, they could quickly fix it and then move on to the next portion of Season 3. Characters, balance, whatever that may be. As for actual balance, we don't have the patch notes. We will get the patch notes, if my memory serves me right, on March 17th. I'll make a video and break it down, so subscribe and stay tuned once that does happen. But as for the things that we do know now, a Discord specifically for giving feedback to the developers will be created at a later date. They said they will share the link so players can join and players can start talking about the things that they want to see further change with the game. With balancing, they will be focusing on character strengths and weaknesses, and also trying to maintain balance. Even though Season 2 is, a horrible update, it is kind of balanced because every character is overpowered. And you see the results of this in the Tekken World Tour Finals, where you have some of the most character variety that you've seen in Tekken in the last 7 years. Now, as for the heat system, power-ups, and basically installs, they said that they will be adjusting it and kind of trying to do an overhaul for some of the ones that are the most egregious. So hopefully Ultra Instinct, which is definitively the most busted mechanic in the game, like statistically, hopefully that is addressed. Now, they will be doing a rank reset as well. Whoever is God of Destruction will be going back to Tekken King. If you're Tekken King, you'll probably be going back a little bit further. They also will be changing the way that ranked works, so that if you're playing on a secondary character, you're matched up with players who are more akin to your skill instead of matching you up based off the max rank that you have. Another huge thing that they're doing in Tekken 8 Season 3, and I'll go ahead and read from my tweet, is addressing one and dones by implementing revenge victories, by giving bonus points to ranked players who rematch after losing. They will also be adjusting bonus points. We know that this is something that heavily contributed to rank inflation in Season 2. Hopefully adjusting means removing it outright, but then they will also be taking a look at rank promotions and demotion system. Hopefully they will be reverting that back to how it operated in Tekken 7, so every player isn't going back and forth between promotion and demotion sitting on that line. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. What I will like to highlight as well, and we'll have to get a little bit more clarification on this, the way that they described it seems to be that everyone who is GOD 1 and above will not be reset, because they kind of like excluded that section from this description. So we can only assume that the rank reset will not apply to them. As for the revenge victories, some players were kind of upset because they would like to see the set be forced. As to why the developers didn't do that, I don't know. but this will regardless incentivize people to stop wanting it done in and give them a reason to fight again. Now, going back and talking about actual characters of season 3, like I said, Miguel is not a part of this update, and I kind of was alluding to this happening not only on Twitter, but I made a YouTube video about it. Once we saw the lineup of season 3, I said I told you so. Now, we do not know the final character of season 3, so it could still very much be Miguel. I personally am skewing more towards either a new character or a guest character, because why else would they leave it hidden? But besides the fact, when you talk about season 3, one of the biggest things that people was upset about is the fact that Miguel was not there. I think he should have been there, especially if you take into consideration what Harada said. When asked specifically about Miguel and Kunimitsu, Harada said they are both more likely than most to return to Tekken 8, and he emphasized Miguel especially. To me, this basically confirms that he's coming next season. Sorry, Miguel, man, you have to wait another year. Now, as for a character like Lei, people were upset that he was not revealed. Me personally, I think that he could show up sometime in the future. His usage data is always divided. Now, as for a character like Julia, she probably will show up in season 4 as well. Harada has this long tweet here, and you guys can pause and read it if you really want to. But basically, going all the way back to January 4th, 2024, this is kind of when Tekken 8 first came out, he was asking for feedback on the design of Julia and how to make her look really well, look really good, to where she's not like offensive or a stereotype. The fact that he was saying this about Julia, I think that the character's coming sooner rather than later. Now, one character we've been dooming and glooming about since August 20th of 2023 is Marduk. He initially leaked alongside Fakuram and Lydia. At the time, Heihachi was there as well, but we assumed that Heihachi was only Reina, so we didn't pick up on that part. But that massive discovery of so many different characters, moves lists, names, and regions where they come from, it triggered this response here from Harada where he said all of the leaked stuff is fake. Don't believe it. It's not true. And also he said that they found the leaker and they will be honing in on that guy. And considering that we had no more leaked information, they probably did get him. But regardless, the information that was shown to us was seen to be very, very true. Fakuram, Lydia came to be. Heihachi came to be. But then one thing that was a part of this is Marduk. Marduk was alongside all of those characters. 63% of his move list was found in the game. Now, we are 3 years into the lifespan and he has not happened. Armor King's story references Marduk, but in season 3 and Roger's trailer, they reference Marduk. So now we really have to think about whether or not that guy is deleted. You know, they've seen the backlash that he caused when the leak happened, and maybe they really did scrap the character. Or will he show up again in season 4? We'll leave that question for you guys to answer in the comment section. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and bye-bye.